My name is Shotty Horroh. I'm here with Gigi. What's good, Gigi?
What's going on, people?
Yeah.
Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you check out everything. Make sure you get your tickets if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And very excited for this one. Very excited.
Yeah, we're with a very, 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 very special guest. The first international participant in Sovereign Pro Wrestling. The infamous, the one and only, the protagonist of pro wrestling, Kid Bandit. How's it going?
Hi.
Before we even start, just want to say, absolute massive fan of your work and everything that you're doing, your presence online, your whole movement, the culture that you're creating, just unbelievable. So I love to see that. Something that's more akin to like what we do in the music industry. Like you're like a rock star for real. Like, and it's dope to see that modern way of promoting yourself or treating your brand the way you do in professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Something I see a lot in the music game, but really not over on this side of stuff. And I think you cutting edge and you definitely leading the way with that stuff. So I commend you on that.
I think one of the things that you pointed out was it's prevalent in the music scene, which is actually where I took a lot of influence from as far as like how to promote myself. I see a lot of I live in Los Angeles, so a lot of like musicians, artists and whatnot, they have to hustle on their own because they're all independent. None of them are signed. So I see the way that they promote themselves and I figured, oh, well, I'll do the same way, but in pro wrestling. And I want to say, like, it was for people like Warhorse and Danhausen and Effie, who I really took in a lot of inspiration from. But I also wanted to make it very prevalent that, look, I don't want to just be a big star in wrestling. I want to just be a big star in general with wrestling as my starting platform. So definitely incorporate a lot of like the anime stuff, a lot of like the video gaming stuff, because people are not one-dimensional and I don't want to be one-dimensional either. And I think when I can relate to a person in more ways than just wrestling, that creates a deeper bond and deeper connection. And thankfully there's a lot of crossover appeal between a lot of the interests I'm in and a lot of the things that my fans are into. So, hopefully the trend keeps going because I got a lot of stuff coming up and it's actually pretty overwhelming now.
That's amazing. So you mentioned, sorry, Gigi, go ahead, bro.
Yes. So obviously you're on Twitch quite a lot and you're playing League of Legends. It's not something I've ever played, but it is really popular. Like, what does that game involve and what am I missing out on? Because I've heard good things about this game.
I will tell you now, as a slave to the game, I will not recommend it because it will. It's a free game that will take a lot of your money. So because do you care to tell us how much you feel like you may have spent on this game, or is a dangerous number? 1,000.
If you equate it to wrestling matches, how many wrestling matches have you spent on this game?
Oh,
we'll edit it out.
And they know what they're doing too. Like they're like, hey, it's a free game, but if you want to look cute or you want to look badass, here you go, spend $10. And you're like thinking, oh, it's just $10, but then 10 turns to 100 turns to 1,000.
I got caught with the Fortnite. I got caught with the Fortnite bug, and I had to have every skin, all the skins that was relevant to me, and the stuff I liked, which they just kept bringing out. So it was like, okay, I'll buy just the Street Fighter one. Oh no, I need to buy just the Ghostbusters one. And then I'm like, oh my God, I spent so much money on this game. So I had to detox from that.
That's how they get you. You think, oh yeah,
purchases.
Yeah, they prey on the gamer's inherent need to be complete.
Yeah,
you'll never be complete if you have like things that can't be unlocked. So they know they can make money off the people that want to get everything. I mean, the game itself is enjoyable if you're good. I'm only good with one character, so like I can only enjoy it specific way. But over the years, I've learned that the real League of Legends is how much fun you're having, whether you win or lose. And sometimes when you're losing bad, It's like Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Oh
This
my
is so
God, bro. I cannot believe you have just brought that up. Oh my God, The Room.
I'm not familiar.
Oh
I'm not familiar.
my
The film,
God.
The Room.
Let me, oh, listen. Oh,
Please,
I've
enlighten me. Please.
I've actually got a crazy story about The Room.
all right. I want to hear it.
So one of my big breaks in the music industry was one night I was watching WWF Monday Night Raw, really late in the UK is when we used to get it on Fridays. Really late. I'm ready to go to bed. I get a DM off Deadmau5, who are like huge EDM musician out there. And he essentially just was like, get to the airport. I'd never spoke to this guy before. He was like, I've just heard your stuff. Get to the airport, fly over here. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go to work, do whatever. I was super gassed. I fly all the way to Toronto. I go do this work. As soon as I get in the car, we get in this beautiful white Ferrari. We're driving to his house.
Wow.
He's not said a word to me. And he turns to me and he goes, have you ever seen The Room? And I'm like, what? He goes, bro, tell me what's so. I'm like, what do you mean? Then there's no more conversation. We go all the way to his house. He puts this movie on. It's like 2 hours. It's written by Tommy Wiseau, starring Tommy Wiseau, directed by Tommy Wiseau, produced by Tommy Wiseau. It's the greatest thing you'll ever see in your life. The greatest thing you will ever see.
Is it a horror film? Am I correct?
Oh, it's unintentional.
It can be horrifying.
Right. I'm gonna watch it. As soon as we're finished here, I'm getting my girlfriend and we're gonna watch it.
You must have seen some of them.
I'll give you a review.
You must have seen some of the memes. The I did not hit her. I did not.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Cool.
Oh God.
Shall I just leave you to it? Shall I just
leave
you two to watch The Room?
This is unbelievable. We'll have to have a room watching party after first. That's awesome. Tommy Wiseau, we should get him involved, definitely.
They actually, so the movie was so bad they had to make a movie about why the movie was so bad.
Yeah. Who was in that now? That was actually a pretty big budget movie, wasn't
it? Seth Rogen was in it. I think James Franco was a starring role. Yeah.
When did this come out? Have I been asleep for 10 years?
Bro, this is like probably it probably came out 10 something years ago, maybe. Miles showed me 5+ years ago. And I've watched it a good few times, and I've watched all these different edits and cuts of it, and I was seriously contemplated buying merch. Yo.
The movie is good for ways it didn't mean to be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting from it anyway. So
I think
like an old school Arnold Schwarzenegger film or something.
Yeah, no,
or Roadhouse.
You won't believe how crazy this is.
But for context, that like the best ways to enjoy League is if you're really good, or you treat it like The Room. You're really bad, but you're having fun.
That is the best analogy. That's a great analogy for life. Yeah. So you mentioned that you have other avenues as well, though. Like, what are the other avenues besides? Obviously, you got gaming, you got pro wrestling, which you are killing, by the way. Year, just over, a tiny bit over a year into the game, and one of the most popular wrestlers on the global indie scene. As a promoter, I seen that firsthand. We booked you, the ticket spiked, like the hype is real, and that's in a different country. Amazing to see, like the tickets spiked for real. As soon as we announced Bandit, everything spiked. The engagement online, the following, just the hype, everything, the enthusiasm for it. So to see that from someone who's a year in, obviously some of this goes back to what we spoke about earlier with your social media presence and the way you think very progressively about stuff like that, but also like just your ability in the ring at this stage is crazy. Some of the moves we see you doing on these highlight reels, I watch DPW as well.
Yes.
Check out DPW's YouTube. Amazing product, looks really good. The wrestling on it's really good. Audience is awesome, so check them out as well. That's awesome. So, but when I'm watching that and I'm like, this person's like at this point months in to being a pro. And you can only imagine where you're going to be in 5 years.
That's always been like one of those things that people have told me too. It's like like wrestlers who are like signed, like, you know, when I'd have these conversations with them, they'd be like, well, so for context, the very first person I ever told, I was like, so the going back to DPW, the very first DPW show, so I'm very new. I haven't been around much. DPW is actually my very first like big booking outside of like AEW Dark, and my appearance in AEW Dark was very short. So like it didn't really have a lot of. Yes, it was both tag matches, but the very first one, it got a lot of hype because it was when Cody was doing the Fuego Dos thing with Fuego Dos. So, and I really, all I had going for me was my look, because it wasn't really a showcase for myself. It was a showcase for Fuego and Fuego Dos. So I like to think that that's what got the attention of DPW, of the Deadlock Boys. And when I finally got there, first of all, I thought they were pranking me. I listened to the podcast and they messaged me like, "Hey, we're gonna book you." I'm like, "Oh, that's funny." Oh shit! Like, oh shit, this is a real company. Fuck. And so I'm like new in here. I talked to a bunch of wrestlers in the audience too, you know. And I'm telling everybody, hey, so like this is like, I think this is my like 20th match, and they're like, what? Like, yeah, this is like I've been wrestling for, I want to say, 4 months now. And when Rosemary heard that, they were like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, like I'm figuring it out. And a couple of them, like gradually throughout the couple of months, you know, I've been lucky enough to be backstage with wrestlers that are signed to AEW Impact, former WWE wrestlers who, you know, work the indies now. They've always told me like, oh, like just imagine where you'll be at in a couple of years, you know, because the things that I'm learning are just like I'm privileged to have this position where early on I'm working the advanced high tier lists of like workers, you know, like I get to develop good habits instead of like starting off like at the lower end of the barrel, developing bad habits and gradually over time, like, you know, fixing them. Now, like now I got to skip all that. All I'm learning from people are like, here's what you need to do to get better. Here's how you do to succeed. I've had Chris Hero like just like straight up just talk to me about like how to improve. I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, like hold on, like I need to be paying you for this. Do I like do I need to know? But it was just a phone conversation, and I'm like, wow, thank you. Like, you know, so like you said, like it's been nothing short of spectacular. I don't quite get why I'm picking it up as fast as I am.
Do you excel at other things like this in life? Is there other talents that you have where you is freakishly good at it quick? Like,
I'm really good at cooking. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Cooking. I do graphics design. I'm a video game developer.
Wow.
But I haven't actually finished the game. I'm still working on it. But I had to put that on pause. But one of the things I've always thought to myself was my mom and my dad, they went to college. They're college graduates, but they graduated from a third world country. So their degrees are basically meaningless overseas. Okay. And I saw them when I was growing up, endlessly caught in the cycle of work, go home, work, go home. And I thought to myself, yo, I would never want to live like that. That sounds like a meaningless existence. I'm sure they love it, but that's love that you get through constant routine, you know, like you don't know anything else outside of that. So you think that that's okay. From outside looking in, I saw that as like, whoa, I would not want to just go do my 9 to 5, go home, go do my 9 to 5 and then go home. And then like, hopefully I have enough free time to like enjoy one hobby. Mm-hmm. So I dedicated my life into like, just, you know, being a Renaissance person, just trying to learn bits and pieces from things. You know, I worked odd jobs here and there. I did a lot of like pizza making. Like I was a sous chef for a ramen store. You know, like it was but everything I did was there was a vested interest in making it so that I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
And wrestling was really where I feel like everything kind of worked, because like in wrestling, you get a plumber character versus an MMA character, or you get like Danhausen versus Ricochet, you know, stuff like that. It's such a diverse little world, and it's wonderful because at the end of the day, it's like the ultimate form of performance art. Like, you know, it's all live. You have to hit each other. There's no retakes. You're your own actor, your own script writer in the indies. You have to create your own brand, all that stuff. So you're also like a publicist, right? So, and it's all you. And that like that freedom is so enticing for someone like me who just, you know, I just want to do everything but a regular 9-to-5 job. Yeah. So here I am, you know.
Do you think,
as someone that works a 9-to-5, you are speaking into my soul right now, because I feel exactly. I mean, me and Shotty was having this exact conversation earlier about, you know, how difficult it is to just maintain a routine and that 9-to-5 life, and you know, you just get to a point where you want to break out that cycle and want to, you know, do something you enjoy and be creative and have those outlets like you do. So you're speaking to my soul right now.
Yeah.
You don't need to feel bad for me.
Okay. I like,
but
there is a certain like something respectable about like doing a 9-to-5 though. But like, it's like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm a productive member of society. You know, that's great.
But it works for certain people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, certain people don't have, you know, that drive to do that every day, or, you know, like it's difficult to just be in a job that you don't necessarily enjoy just for the money. You know, everyone wants to do something they enjoy. So, you know, props to you for doing everything you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear more about the cooking, to be honest. What is your favorite dish to cook? Because I love myself some food.
So my favorite, I like steak. Steak's good.
Talk to me.
So it's an American Japanese fusion. I like it's the name speaks for itself. It's steak ramen. I love ramen with oil. I like to use black oil for it. I add a little bit of vinegar to add some sourness, because that's my personal preference. I like to have a little bit of sweets, some lemon, and it's basically just ramen with chicken broth. But the steak, use filet mignon for no reason at all. Like you can even use like instant ramen with this, like, you know, recipe, because the steak is the real flavor here. It's not the ramen itself, but the steak. Let the juices the thing about this sucks about cooking filet mignon and putting it in the steak ramen is that you have to cut the steak, which kind of eliminates all the juices and stuff, right? So what I like to do is I cook the steak first, and then after that, that's when I cut it on this is like this container with like a netting underneath, so all the juices that I cut flow into the ramen broth. So it's
smart.
Like, you know, yeah.
Resourceful.
Yes. And then I add chasu to it, which is it's pork belly, and little fish cakes and stuff. And I should take a picture of this the next time I make one, because it's one of my cheat meals. The other one's fish and chips, so I'm really excited for this like UK trip, because I love fish and chips.
I'm gonna get you the best fish and chips possible.
Yes, that was the one thing I've been wanting to like do, is make a list of all the fish and chips places. I have a friend, Darian Bankston and Anthony Agogo, like they told me, here you need to go for like food. I'm like, yes, let's do it. You know,
you know what we do? Comment down below, hit us up, and we need all your fish and chip recommendations for Kid Bandit. I want to see, you know, if you're really serious about this, you know, we're going to give you a list of 80 places. Just I hope you make it to the show still, but you know, you're gonna be busy.
we should have Bandit taste test a bunch of different fish and chip places backstage. We'll bring a bunch of different ones, and like
maybe I like it.
Yeah, that'll be some fun content, and you get to tickle the foodie taste buds and stuff like that. That would be awesome. Speaking of Britain and things to do in Britain and all. Is this your first appearance? Is this your first actual trip to the UK actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah, and massive honor for us to be the people to get you for the first show.
Thank you.
That's insane. Is there a little mini UK bucket list? What have you heard of anything in the UK and thought, oh, you know what, I want to try that, I want to go and do that?
Definitely want to wear my fake taxi shirt and ride a cab and take a selfie. Just for the meme.
Dope. That is dope. There's actually like, do you see that like photo op fake cab that gets around, GG? Have you seen that? There's like some
wait, that's real?
Yeah, there's like a fake taxi guy that gets about. I don't know if it's the fake taxi or if it's the guy's just branded up a taxi to look like it. And it sometimes it's outside nightclubs and everyone's taking pictures of it, or you just see it riding down the street. And it's clever, man. People film
I just want to say I don't know what fake taxi is.
Oh yeah, neither do I. Yeah.
My eyes twitching.
Yeah. Fake taxi. We only like fake wrestling out here.
It's not fake. It's not fake.
What's that word?
Fake taxi. There we go.
Yeah.
I do want to. I don't know how the British people feel about them, but I'm a big Libertines fan. You know, Baby Shambles. So growing up, like post-punk, was like one of my favorite music tastes. I like to think that, you know, my music taste came from like video games, like video game soundtracks. So, you know, I got like thanks to that, I got to exposed to a lot of like post-punk from like the 2000s and stuff. So Baby Shambles, you know, and I don't know how they feel about it because he's kind of a controversial figure, but I always like Pete Doherty. I was like, oh yeah, like I like him. So I don't think I might be able to see concerts while I'm there because you know, I want to be focusing on the wrestling, but I do want to experience like the music scene in the UK. I live in Los Angeles, so our music scene is actually really weird in terms of like the lower end, like the indies and stuff. So, but I've been to Oregon, I've been to Seattle, I've been to like the more progressive cities here in America where their music scenes were lively and stuff. And you know, I've always been a firm believer that art itself is really powerful, which is really heartbreaking when people told me like when I got into wrestling, they're like, oh, you're never gonna make money out of that. Well, I'm making money now. So but art is like so powerful. It's the one thing that we do to connect to others, you know, like everybody has a favorite musician, everybody has a favorite movie and stuff. That's all arts and entertainment. So I'm really excited to see how like entertainment itself functions in a different country, because I grew up in a third world country where our entertainment is very intertwined with politics. You know, now you're in America, and America's entertainment is so diverse because it's a cultural melting pot. So I want to like when I get to the UK, I want to experience the subcultures. You know, I'm a big rock punk fan. So like, you know, like for many of us who were, you know, growing up, we saw the UK punk scene as like, you know, like, whoa, that's where the fashion started, you know? So I want to experience all that, you know? And I do want to see what it's like to just talk to people. Cause I know the United Kingdom is also kind of a melting pot as well. You know, like it's multiple different cultures in one location, and LA is very much like that, but in a very different way. So I want to experience like the differences in people and stuff. I want to hear stories and stuff, because it's funny because I'm a social media person, but like, you know, the ultimate irony is when I travel to a place, I don't like taking videos. I don't like vlogging my experience. I want to experience it and then talk about it later. You know? So yeah.
I'm sure there's so much stuff outside of wrestling that you'll get into in the UK. Like I say, I'm in the music scene, I'm in a punk band. There's a lot we can do when you're out here. We'll make sure you have a great time as far as that kind of stuff goes. You're out here for a while as well, aren't you? Actually, you're out here for
So I don't have a return date planned. I know I have to be back in America before Halloween because, you know, I have to do some rituals and stuff like that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I don't have a planned trip home. I think people just assume I was just gonna be in Europe in general. So I ended up like, I think my very last show out there is actually a show in Italy. So I'm like, how did that happen, right? But once I figure out everything, I'll probably be like, okay, I'll buy myself a ticket home and I'll head home, you know, but I'll be there for majority of October. Actually having my birthday out there, so it'll be fun.
Okay, when's your birthday?
The 9th.
Okay, we'll definitely do something on the 1st. We'll do an early party on the 1st. We'll arrange something.
Oh.
Sure, 100%. You'll have a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans here that can't wait to see you, that ready to celebrate your birthday with you, and see you compete in the first ever Crown Cup at First Reign. There's a few competitors in there that people have fantasy booked you against for a while.
And you made everyone's fantasies come true in your first show. Isn't that amazing?
We're quite proud of that, actually. We're quite proud.
You took to this like a fish to water. Like it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, it's like one of the most hotly anticipated like shows. Like here in America too. Like people are like talking about it. It's like, whoa, like yeah, hell yeah.
We appreciate that. We just wanted to. We just take it super serious. I think we work on Sovpro every minute of the day. Super focused, great team. And we just want to do the best by the wrestlers and the fans and put on great product and bring over people that people want to see. And that was one of the things that brought all our attention to you, is when we put one of them first tweets out, like, who do you want to see? It was overwhelming with Kid Bandit and all from all over the world. Like, and like we keep harping back to, yeah, it's a year in. And you've done this well in a year, but you booked in the UK, you booked in Italy, and you competing for championships and stuff like that in the first year.
Yeah,
a lot of people would like love to get some kind of blueprint plan from you of how you've just achieved everything that you just achieved, because we see inspirational stories from you. Like you said, you came from a third world country, you battled a weight problem amazingly. There's so much I want to talk to you about with the whole fitness side of stuff as well, and come to this point, and like you're actually like an inspirational like individual as well, just as a person. Just like, don't matter if you're into wrestling or anything, if you come across your story, it's super inspirational to see like that. You actually remind me of, you know, XXX Tentacion.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you remind me of that spirit, man. Like, you have this pure thing about you where you can tell that you are really pure and you want the best for everyone, and you just want to put out a good message. And I think that propels your art as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the art that you create, it's like people really want to get behind and support you, because I think everyone kind of wants to have that outlook on life, like the outlook that you have. So I think that's something is needed in professional wrestling. At professional wrestling for a while, you can get, you know, there's been toxic shit going on.
It's been very toxic. Yeah.
And like, you're like a breath of fresh air in that, and like in that sense, and super modern, progressive in such a scene, in a scene that come from super macho 80s, take loads of gear and just be, you know, just...
they would caricature people like me back. If I was in the industry like 10 years ago, I'd be stereotyped.
But I think you represent the nuance in just every human. Like, every single one of us are super, super nuanced. And like you said before, you don't have to be one dimensional. You can do all these things. You can be a gaming wrestler that does this and does that and whatever. That's it. That's something super important for the next generation to take in. So that's one of the reasons I was super proud to have you as part of
Thank
Southern
you.
Pro Wrestling. Definitely.
Yeah, I think one of the things I learned was you can connect with people the way that you like only you can. And so there will come a time where someone like me would emerge, and maybe they're very similar, but like for example, maybe they're black, and so they will connect to black people way more than I would ever, because like that's the power of representation, seeing someone succeed that's like you, like that's the most inspirational thing, right? And I've never been shy to admit I was a loser. I mean, I still think so. Like I'm one of the society's undesirables, where I was obese, wrestling fan, like, oh wow, like I was the mark that MJF would cut promos about, essentially. But I've never been afraid to admit that, because it creates a deeper bond with like my fellows, because like now they get to say, yo, they're just like me, but look, they're chasing their dream. And yes, in my case is exceptional, because like I don't think it's happened before where someone just skyrocketed as fast as me. And frankly, it's terrifying, because like I got the privilege, but also the terrifying task of paving that way for people. So I charted these I charted these uncharted waters, as it were, by myself, and
you're
now
doing a brilliant job.
Thank
You're
you.
doing brilliant.
It's still one of those things where I'm afraid I'm lost all the time, but the thing is, like,
you have no blueprint to go by necessarily. So
exactly.
You are finding your own way, and you are doing a service for the next generation.
Blazing a trail.
Undesirable is not a word I would put anywhere near Kid Bandit. Sovereign Pro definitely wanted Kid Bandit, to be at our first show and be part of our brand. And
thank you.
But you are undeniable.
Yes, that's all. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Shout out Cody Rhodes.
He said the thing.
but to go back to that though, like, yeah, Cody was a wrestler that made me feel something. Wrestlers like are artists, and artists invoke emotions, and that's ultimately my job. Like I could do a 450 splash, I could do all this stuff, but if I never put any emotion to that, then like in terms of music, like you could have like the most astounding melody, you have the most like amazing production, but if your lyrics ring hollow, like it's not going to be able to connect to people the way that like a poem with sounds would, so that's I like that. I can use that music like analogy a lot, because music, right? But
it's why that's so true though, because that's why I don't know how familiar you are with hip hop, but I've always been Tupac over Biggie, because Tupac you can feel.
Same.
Yes.
Shout
out to the Biggie
fans. Shout out to all the Biggie fans, but it's
no denying Biggie is
one
of the greatest of all time. But Pac, you can hear the emotion from the soul, and it's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I like to think that every story. So as a wrestler, I view myself as a mini Shakespeare. I write one act plays that gets put in a card, which is like the entire movie, as it were, and I write a chapter in my match to enhance the entire overall story, whether I be in the first card or the main event, or like right before intermission. It's my job as performer to ensure that the people who pay for the show come home feeling one thing, and in my case, I hope they feel happy, because I'm very comical, I'm very happy-go-lucky, and the job isn't to wow them with theatrics. You can absolutely, if there's fans that came specifically just to see a backflip, hey, I'll try to do a backflip. you know, like I'll get that in there. But at the end of the day, the job itself is to give people an escape from their crappy lives, and they chose wrestling to be that escape. And I'm privileged. I'm so privileged that they choose to do that. Like they could go, like, I live in LA. They could go see Beyonce instead. Like, you know, they're probably performing like down the street. I don't know. They could go to a nightclub on a Saturday night, but instead they chose to see wrestling. And so my job is to make sure that for 10 minutes, 15, however long I have that spotlight, I could make at least one person feel like, wow, like this is like really cool. I'm glad I spent my money here. Because you know, as a performer, as an entertainer, like there is nothing more, and I'm sure y'all could relate to this, like there's nothing more gratifying to have someone just tell you that you made them feel good. Yeah. You know, or if you're a villain, you made me feel bad, you know, because that's the essence of everything we do. We're not in the entertainment business to just, you know, give people chuckles. We're in the entertainment business to change lives, like at the end of the day, you know, because as much as like life experience to shape who we are, outside of that, what really shapes people, it's your culture, it's the arts, it's the entertainment. And I'm privileged to be part, like as niche as wrestling is, I'm privileged to be here, like actively influencing people, you know, like I like the dig has always been like, oh, you're an influencer, what are you influencing, you know, like you're a social media influencer, like, well, I'm influencing people, I hope. You know, like that's the goal, right? And I'm glad that I get to use wrestling as my outlet, because I freaking love wrestling. I love kicking people in the head. Like I have a nice job wwer I get to have my own theme song for my job.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know, and nothing against strippers, you know, but like I can't strip dance, so this is the only time I get to have a theme song, you know.
You said, you know, wrestlers can change lives. Can you remember that wrestler that changed your life? When you was watching and then you just said, you know, I'm gonna do it. A specific wrestler where you was just like so inspired to take the journey, as it were.
A very recent example, I want to say, as much as I love Cody and I want to keep using him as an example, I feel like everybody's heard that before. So one of the things that, and this is entirely based off their wardrobe, actually, was Kevin Owens. I like the fact that you look at Kevin and you see someone that looks like they'd be in the audience. You know, they're coming in here, they're wearing shorts, they're wearing a shirt that's cut off, you know, like they don't look larger than life compared to like their peers who have like Herculean physiques or have this incredible, like, you know, larger than life aura. With Kevin, you see an everyman. You see someone that you know, you'd probably see it drinking at your local bar or walking their dog in the street. You know, that's the appeal I saw, was like, hey, you know, they look very, very average, but as soon as you see their work, there's nothing average about Kevin Owens in that ring. They're like phenomenal, you know, like, so seeing that juxtaposition of like, here's your person that doesn't look like they have what it takes, just go in there and outshine everybody else. That spoke volumes to me, because I'm not tall. I'm 5'5". I never lie about my height, by the way. I don't have the wrestling build height. Because what I think it's cooler when I tell people I am 5'5", but I'm gonna kick your butt. You know, like, you know. So I've always thought that seeing people who don't look like they could go just kill it, like that speaks volumes to me, because that's kind of what I try to do. Like, hey, look, I know I'm a year in, I know I'm 5'5", I know sometimes you can't really tell if I'm a boy or a girl, and it doesn't matter, nor should it, because guess what, when I'm in that ring, you're gonna see a whirlwind, you're gonna see a typhoon, because that's what I am. I'm the humanoid typhoon.
Something we wanted to mention to you as well, or talk to you about was the process you have when naming your moves. You have got some
If
crazy
could I maybe list some off for you, and you can just
please do
tell us
Okay.
tell us briefly how
I'm
you.
gonna
So
eat.
Angel
I'm
Killer.
gonna eat a sweet while I do it.
You do that. Angel Killer. I'm think. Can I? It's probably. Is it something to do with obviously the angel's wings?
Yes.
But
Yep, absolutely. It was okay, funny story about that. So I debuted that move in my very first match ever. So I went, for those of y'all listening that don't know, I went to Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory because one, I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan, and two, it's like, you know, Cody Rhodes has a school. What? Like, let me get in on that. So I debuted there, and I don't really have a moveset yet, but I did know that I want to do one move that I made, and that was the move that I created. Solely because like I thought the One Winged Angel was a cool move, but I want to make my own variant of it. And so I did that move. Didn't have a name for it at the time. And I remember Cody critiqued my match, and there wasn't any critiques, which is like weird, right? Because I'm like, yo, that was like my debut. Why isn't there a bucket list? But like the critiques were actually very scarce. But the one thing that he said was like, I like that move. That was cool. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, that was like a One Winged Angel. I was like, oh shit, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. And when I came up with the name for it, I wanted to be edgy. I want to be as edgy as possible. And the name itself is a double reference. So the reference obviously being Kenny Omega's One Winged Angel, and the other one is that it's a Neon Genesis Evangelion reference, which you know, in the anime they fight angels, you know, and they kill angels. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's a very, you have to kind of reach to get the reference, but if you know, you know.
Mhm.
So that's the thing. Plus, it sounds cool, you know.
It does. So Dance of the Fire God. How did we come up with that one?
That one is a reference to Demon Slayer, the anime. It's a newer anime. I recommend it for everyone. It's the main character, one of the main character's signature moves. I named it like that because the movement itself. So I came up with it dancing with my partner. Like I would ask my partner, "Hey, can I try out a wrestling move?" I obviously won't do the move, but I'm like just like fiddling around and shout out to them because like they let me they let me just try out moves on them, whatever. So and we were playing around. We were very very high, and then so I don't know what the United Kingdom's like feelings about marijuana use is, but like I'm
they don't like it, Bandit, but we do.
Let's go. So yes, I you know, we're rough housing, and then suddenly it kind of just happened. I was like, that looked cool. And then, you know, I started practicing it and stuff. And then I posted it online, and I was like trying to think of a name, and then watching it, I was like, oh, you know, like I've been watching Demon Slayer. Let me make this a reference. So 2 and 2 together, you know.
Dope. That's a dope one.
So Death Reaper Soul.
Oh, okay. That one is a Naruto reference. That one's so that one actually, I don't have like a reason why I named it like that. I just wanted something edgy. Like, yeah, I'm very edgy. Edgy self.
That's the criteria. That's the first thing you write down on the list, like edgy, and then you figure out the names from there. It has to be
Shadow the Hedgehog. Let's go.
The spikiest animal you could find.
Yeah. The thing.
I already probably know the answer to this
porcupine.
One.
That's the spikiest.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant by hedgehog. When Bandit said hedgehog, that's the
Did you know porcupines fire them things out? They fire them out. Like a Pokemon.
Like pin missiles.
Yeah, they're like a
like a Pokemon
move.
Like, what the hell? I've seen footage of like lions walking up to them, and they're just like backing up. Like, I will bust this gap right now. Do you know what I mean? You got like a full, your body's a gun. That's lit.
So, Bandit, let me just. I need to. I need to confirm in my own mind about this move's name, just for the peace of my own mind. Soul Adrenaline. Is it what I think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cody reference, is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Because it's very Crossroads. It's like a Hammerlock.
Yeah, Hammerlock
almost Crossroads, which looks crazy. And then obviously the name. I just wanted to confirm in my mind that was the case.
In one of your matches, you this actually pissed my girlfriend off for weeks, because in one of Bandit's matches, mid-match, Bandit was like, adrenaline in my soul, hops onto the middle rope and said, something, Cody Rhodes.
No way.
Drops the spinning DDT or whatever it is. Let me tell you, I did not stop singing that for a week. I'd be making tea. I'd be making tea. I'd be doing anything. I'd be anywhere. And one day, I just realized
that's one of them ones where you just catch yourself singing it in public after as well. And you're in the supermarket and you're like, oh, sorry.
Just remembering that's not the actual lyrics to the song. I'm watching Raw and he's coming out and I'm like, oh no, that's not the lyrics. something, Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
As a rapper, I think that's just a great rhyme to just slot in there. How does his name rhyme with it? That's crazy.
I love that they're like also in on that joke now. Like they're just like I remember they posted like a picture of like WWE Cody Rhodes socks, and they're like adrenaline in my toes. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You see so many tweets about it. It's hilarious. Anytime something happens in wrestling, someone always manages to tie it back to those song lyrics. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
No, I think the best. I'm really happy they let Cody keep the theme because it's so good. It's like one of the best themes ever. I think what ended up happening that specific like match, that was DPW. That was the very first DPW match ever. And I remember just thinking to myself, look, I'm a big fan of the podcast. Like I know what kind of people watch this show. All right, let's meme the frick out of it. Let's go. We're gonna meme it. Like, and I think that's the best part. It's like I started my career as a meme. Literally, like what ended up happening was Cody posted a picture of the camp, the third night.
You looked so badass on this picture. I remember, like you just
I remember out well.
Like I remember this picture like in real time when it was tweeted and honed in on you straight away. Like,
who is that?
Straight away. Story. Yeah. What's the story with? You know what I mean? I straight away was just like anime. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think the world must have been like that. Obviously.
That was the intention. So I'm glad it translated really good. Yeah. Funny story about that picture was I was at the bathroom. I didn't know we were taking a photo. I was like, I thought we did a photo the day before. And so I was in the bathroom. I actually just like, freaking out because I'm about to have my very first match. And I step outside and it was actually 10 from the Dark Order. He was like, hey, they're taking pictures. I was like, oh God. Okay. So I'm the last one there. And originally I was standing in the back and I'm short. I'm the shortest person here. And so the person taking the photo was like, there's a person in the back. We can't see. So Cody was like, come on in the front row. I was like, okay, cool. So I take that knee. I did my pose, yada. And then right after that, everybody's out down the ring. We're doing a pep talk and stuff. I'm still in the ring. So I'm like teasing like, oh, I'm going to do a suicide dive, right? And I'm about to hit the rope to like tease this fake, like I'm just gonna have fun with friends thing, and I almost ran into Cody, and I was like, oh frick, like shit. So that was the fun story about like that whole photo. I almost knocked Cody down right after that.
Holy, that's going to be one of them legendary photographs in history in somewhere in the future. I can just see that being a very iconic historical photograph, because I'm sure everybody had the same vibe when they seen, because no disrespect to everyone else in the picture, but you know, we're in 2022. We've seen a lot of most of everything that we're going to see, and when something comes along that catches your eye, striking, that is original and unique, it's just human nature for us to be everyone to be inquisitive about that. I want to talk a little bit about the Crown Cup. Commander Stephanie Sterling, Kid Bandit. Sterling is kind of the anime villain. This is like, this is a real story arc that you could put on a page. This is crazy.
There's like, I've been told I'm like the American Stephanie Sterling recently. I was like, whoa, hold on, that's really big. That's a really big comparison. Yeah, I love that. You. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in the same ring as them. But also, it's like we to see in 2022, like two figures, like themselves and myself being in the ring in a pro wrestling show, and it's not one of those like, oh hey, it's there. Oh hey, this is for like in case there's some queers in the crowd, you know, like this match, like from what I've seen, is like probably the most hyped up match in the card, and it's your debut show, so it's one of those, wow, like it's very refreshing to see that we have progressed as a society to the point that we are openly marketing this inevitable clash with myself and all these competitors in that ring, and my Stephanie and myself are like heavily featured like for this match. So we're not being marketed as like a sideshow, which is, I think, like the most important thing when it comes to like showing how much we've come along as a society. You know, it's like at first, like we're proving that, hey, from a purely physical standpoint, we can draw. Like, yes, yes, a lot of my appeal and a lot of Sterling's appeal, and I would say even Simon Miller's appeal, is like not to your typical wrestling fan. It reaches people who have interests in wrestling that doesn't necessarily mean they're interested in the moves. You know, like for example, with Simon Miller, it's people gravitate towards Simon because they're wrestling journalists with personality, you know. They gravitate to Sterling because of like they're gamer, you know, and everything else that they stand for, which, you know, I like to think that in my neck of the woods I try to emulate. So to see that, I'm sure the criticism will be, oh, like why is this heavily featured? They're not even like the pure like Zack Sabre Jr. type wrestler. They're not the Bryan Danielson types. Well, first of all, if you want to see Bryan Danielson, you go watch AEW. If you want to see Zack Sabre Jr., you watch New Japan. The thing that you said a while ago was like it's all about making moments, creating something new, and we've seen it all. Yeah. You know, we will see, like, no matter how long wrestling like goes on, you will see another Bryan Danielson somewhere down the line. They won't necessarily be exactly like Bryan Danielson, but like you'll see the technical acumen, you'll see similarities and stuff. You'll see like the same passion and fire for the sport, because that Danielson is the avatar of like someone that loves pro wrestling. Yeah. And if I'm being honest, and I know like controversial take, but like I see a lot of Benoit in Bryan Danielson, and see a lot of Bret Hart in Danielson, you know. Yeah. And so eventually somewhere down the line, maybe someone like Robert Martyr will be the next, you know, or Ian Skinner will be the next Bryan Danielson. Yeah. You know, you'll see that. And same with companies like, you know, Sovereign is like it's a brand new promotion. And the thing about First is that you get to dictate your identity off your first show. And I think that you specifically trying to show that, like, hey, we're booking queer talent. We're booking talent that you wouldn't normally associate with like being being wrestler, like indie wrestlers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, like the talent that's in that match, they draw.
Yeah.
And ultimately, as a business, you want to draw people. You want, like, you know, you want people coming in, spending that money on your business, on your brand, because they're connected to the people that you're using, the talent and stuff. Because at the end of the day, yes, good wrestling is good to see, but good wrestling from people that can connect with an audience in new ways, in nuanced ways that no one else has done before, that is like the epitome of like just having your own identity. And I think Sovereign has that now because of the way that you structure this card. Like I look at it and I look at other companies in the UK that I'm going to be working for. I'm like, wow, this card is like wild. Like, it's like, whoa, like it's different and it's refreshing and ultimately it's new, and you know, and people might not get it at first, but one, like I could totally see that the identity that you've chosen for Sovereign is so transparent. It's clear the identity, and that I think that's what I think. You know, I'm gonna stop talking.
No, you're totally right, and it's nice that that's picked up on. We definitely want to create a place and have a place where everyone's represented. I think a good point that you make about like Bryan Danielson, not to like disrespect Bryan Danielson or anyone of that mold, but that mold, we have a lot of wrestlers like that, because that particular type of, you know, straight white male has seen evidential fact that, you know, that's an avenue they can take and be championed and do well in that industry. People like yourself and Stephanie Sterling, you're going to be able to do that for young trans people as well, where when they see you, they're going to see pro wrestling as a place that I can go there and be championed, and that is a world and a realm where I'm accepted for who I am, and, you know, get rid of all the bullshit that people have to go through. It's like one step at a time, obviously, but I think that's a really big, powerful step forward. We're happy to be super happy, super proud to be a part of something like that. It's something that, you know, it should never have been the way it's been anyway. But like just for young trans people to have representation like this is super important. Yeah, all these names in the Crown Court match, everyone's in there on merit. Everyone's at Sovpro on merit for what they do in the ring, for what they do outside of the ring, and for how they carry and conduct themselves in the pro wrestling world and online and stuff like that. Everyone deserves to be there because they are kick-ass pro wrestlers first and foremost. That's what we book first and foremost, 100%. But yeah, just to have such a diverse talent pool as far as race, creed, gender, all that, but also creatively, just the way all you guys think differently from each other, and the stuff we're able to do. It's an absolute dream for us. You know, we're huge wrestling fans. This is our first show. It's not something we just jumped into. It's something we wanted to do for years. So to be able to work with such responsive people that know what we're trying to do and the bar that we're trying to set and going forward is amazing, man. And it's just it's for the good of the business. We're weeding out the bullshit. So to
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, especially after the speaking out movement, you know, it was kind of like a wonderful cleanse.
Yeah,
it's a nice reset. I'm like I said, I'm from America. I'm not as familiar with the British scene, but I keep up as much as I can. So like one of the things I read about is like, you know, it's on the up and up again, which, you know, and what better time to shape the future of the entire scene by creating a show that's inclusive, that's going to do right by the talent. Mm-hmm. You know, that I think that's the most important thing about a promoter is like, you know, I don't know if you kept up with like the Wrestle Queerdom stuff that happened like 2 weeks ago, but that was that was not fun. I mean, I don't know how much y'all know about that, but it's like it's
just a
so
little bit.
slimy.
Right.
Like,
Just you can elaborate further. Just
yeah. Okay, for both of you. So the Wrestle Queerdom show was supposed to be super freaking, you know. And so I distanced myself right away when it happened because I like
this is an American based company, right?
Yes, American based. Yeah. But we used international talent. You know? Yeah. So like Venny from Japan. I think Giselle's from the UK, right? I'm not sure.
I think Giselle's from Canada.
Okay,
she worked here quite a lot.
Yeah.
So there's this whole push to create a brand that's like entirely for, you know, gender non-conforming folks. And hey, like I personally think that it's great because, like, you know, you want that specific thing. Like I don't think every company should have that because one, it promotes, like, you know, separation. I think we should do. I think integration is the way to go. But it's not bad to have a company that focuses on that as a space for people like myself who don't really have opportunities, you know. Mm-hmm. That being said, the backstage stuff that led up to that whole show was like, oh boy, it was not good. And the aftermath of that was even worse. Actually, it's there. I am 100%, 200% convinced that in a couple of years we will see a Dark Side of the Ring episode about this.
Holy shit! Serious?
There are some skeletons in the promoter's closet that haven't come out yet, and I can't speak on it because I don't know everything. And the last thing I want is to put out misinformation out for the world. But I do know that there's a lot more stuff there involved. Like, I haven't gotten paid yet. Like, so as of now, you know, I'm the last talent from the show that hasn't gotten paid yet. So I'm waiting on that. Hopefully it happens. But the thing that's most heartbreaking about all this was there was already a massive outcry from people who don't understand us against the show. They think it's gonna fail. It was destined to fail. As much as we, like, you know, we were in the show and a lot of the talent that got booked in the card were like top tier talent that represent us, you know, which sucks because, like, you know, like in a perfect world, it should have been a good show. And the show itself was good. It's just the stuff surrounding it has permanently soured the entire event, which at the end of the day, the message here is that, oh, well, gender non-conforming people can't put on a good wrestling show, which sucks because like I said, the show itself was good. But you know, it was one of those things where we had to deliver, and we did as talent. But the promoter was not the person we thought they were, so it soured everything. And it's refreshing, like, you know, to deal with promoters now, like, you know, like right here for Sovereign, like I'm dealing with people where you could see that they give a crap, not just because it's one of those like, oh, let me show you all that I could run a wrestling show. It was one of those, like, you could feel the fire and intensity coming out of, like, the production. You can see that y'all are going above and beyond to promote the show, to show that it's one of those, like, must-see events, not just because it's a business venture, but also because it's like, yo, like, we're trying to put out good product out there. You both, like, have this aura of, like, I want to say, like, approachability, which a lot of promoters, like, you know, when they are trying to book a wrestling show for money, like, just for money, they don't care. They don't care what you do. They're just gonna be like, yeah, do what you want, make me money, you know, like the fact that there's even an interview right now with myself to even, like, promote the show, not just, you know, promote the show, but myself in the show for people coming into Sovereign who aren't familiar with me. There's that level of, like, here, like, we're going the extra mile again. Let's go the extra mile again. And thankfully, like, you know, it will pay off because, like, the thing is, like, you I'm a firm believer of you get what you put into it. So, and you see a lot of effort being put into it. And I'm sure that like it goes beyond just the booking aspect. Like there's a promoting aspect. There's the like, hey, you know, spoiler alert, but there's a Kid Bandit theme song coming in the way. Maybe, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything about that, but that speaks volumes on the extra mile. And guess what? Like, hey, I heard the theme song, and and that's something that I'm carrying to like like, hey, when I get signed to a major company, there will be a lawyer involved saying, I gotta get my freaking own theme song, and I have the perfect one right here. And if y'all try to change it,
Love that.
Love it.
I'll try to change that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like one of the things I shouldn't have said, but you know, I'm really looking forward to having my own custom theme song.
Yeah, we will definitely put a little bit of a snippet of the theme song on this. That's I literally, to make that one, I made it in this room. I literally just put some anime on mute and just made music with anime on, and just wanted to create something that would seem like the theme song, some of that Power Rangers, even not even just anime, like just Super Sentai, like Power Rangers, like fast stuff, like dope. And I'm so glad you like it as well. So glad you like it. That's gonna be dope. I can't wait for the lights to drop, that music to hit, and the people to realize that Kid Bandit is on the way to the ring. That is gonna be absolutely amazing. But thank you for having this interview with us. Absolute pleasure. We look forward to seeing you on October the 1st at the Trinity Sports Centre in Manchester. Kid Bandit is competing in the first ever Crown Cup. If you do not have your ticket right now, are you crazy? Kid Bandit is in the building in the UK for the first time ever. www.sovereignprowrestling.com/tickets. And you may as well show up in your own Kid Bandit merch, available at sovpro.bigcartel.com. There's only 19 of these left. Talk about draw. Talk about ticket seller. Talk about t-shirt seller. This is international. We shipped so many to the countries that we shipped these shirts to.
No, I actually saw one in my show last week. Like it's even in one of like the shots that was like posted online. You could see the front row, like it was bare. I was like, I saw it like in the merch table. I was like, that's a Sovpro freaking like collab shirt. I don't even have one yet. I need one. So it was amazing. They were really excited for it.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we shall see you on October the 1st.
Thank you. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for having me.